Hi guys, this is Kenya. Welcome back to Kenya's Decor Corner. Today I am super excited because this is day one of Vlogtober, and so yes, I have decided to participate, and so I am bringing you in our first video a quick and easy one-pan meal idea. Now the temperatures here are finally starting to cool off. You guys know I live in Texas, and we have been having triple digits temperatures up until a couple of weeks ago, and this morning it was a wonderful and brisk 55 degrees, and so I thought, yay, let me cook something that's kind of hearty for dinner. So we are making ground beef and broccoli cheese casserole, basically, but we're doing it on top of the stove. And so you saw that I have ground beef that I already have browning in the pan, and now I'm just cutting up some onions to add to it, and I'll be adding some garlic. So I have some minced garlic here, and we are ready to add these two items to our ground beef. So I'm just going to give it a quick stir just so it's cooking evenly, and you guys can see that my frying pan is fairly deep, so this is perfect for this type of meal. So if you have a deep frying pan, it would work better, so when you're adding in everything, you'll have enough room for nothing to spill over. So now I'm adding about 1 teaspoon of garlic, and you can see it's kind of a heaping teaspoon. So garlic is one of those things you can add as much or as little or none if you like. It's totally up to you. And for the onions, I did cut up a half an onion, so I'm going to put all of that in the ground beef and let everything kind of cook and saute together. But I'm also adding some black pepper, and I'm going to add some salt. So you can season your dish to taste, but I like to cook the meat in seasoning and then add more later if I need to, but this helps to really season your meat. So that's just how I like to do it. And I'm also adding in a bit of paprika. Again, this is one of those items that you don't have to add in if you don't like it. I actually like the flavor of it, and actually my family does. So I'm just sprinkling a generous amount of paprika over everything, which was probably about maybe a teaspoon and a half. And I'm just mixing everything together here so that it will all cook evenly. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and prepare our broccoli. So we have some fresh broccoli here that I've already rinsed, and I'm just breaking it apart from the stalks. You can use a knife, and a little bit later I will go ahead and use a knife, but I'm just showing you guys how you can break it off or cut it off. It's totally up to you. I'm using 2 heads of broccoli because, as you saw, I have a lot of ground beef, and that's because, you know, we have a large family when our kids are all here. And so they're not necessarily here right now, but this will be leftovers for us. So I'm just cooking a lot so that we'll have a day or two of dinner. So we'll go ahead and cut all the broccoli off the stalk. I also decided to cut the broccoli into smaller bits, and that's totally up to you. Now let's go ahead and check on our meat, and as you can see, I'm just giving it a good stir, and you want to make sure that your meat is broken up into bits. Like, you don't want large chunks of ground beef, or at least that's not how I like it. So as I'm stirring, you can see I'm kind of chopping into the meat and breaking it up into bits so that the meat is nice and ground texture. And now we are ready to add in our broccoli, and I'm just going to layer it in right on top because eventually we'll stir this all and mix it all together. So now that we have all of the broccoli in place, we need to season it up. So I'm adding in a little black pepper, and I'm also going to add in a little bit more salt because, you know, the broccoli needs some seasoning. And also I am going to add a little bit of thyme. You can use fresh thyme if you have it. I have dried, and so that's what we're doing. And I'm using about a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of thyme. I'm just sprinkling it right on top. And now I'm just going to cover it with a lid and allow this to steam for a little bit before I mix it all together. And now that we've let it steam a bit, I'm going to give it a quick stir, and you can see how the broccoli has kind of settled down a bit because it's already started steaming. Now we're just gonna mix it all in, and remember our meat is already seasoned, so all of that seasoning that we added was primarily for the broccoli, not necessarily for the meat. But now I'm kind of nestling the broccoli into the ground beef so that it can continue to cook. So I'll let that go for another few minutes. Now it's been about 10 minutes, so it's time to go ahead and add our cheese. So I'm using Velveeta shredded cheese. You can use whatever kind of cheese you like, guys. This is just what we have, and so I'm using what we have. And that was about a half a bag. So I have a whole bag of mozzarella cheese. I'm going to also use that because the half a bag is not enough. So I'm using the whole bag of mozzarella, and I may add a little bit more later, we'll see. But I'm just going to kind of spread it all about on top here because I'm going to let it soften a bit. But we're going to also add in some heavy whipping cream. And so I'm adding about a half a cup or so. So I'm just going to pour it in there a bit. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but if I had to say a measurement, it's about a half a cup. Now I'm going to cover it with our lid and let that meld together for about 5 or 10 minutes. And now that is done its thing, so I'm going to mix it all together. And that's what's kind of making it like a casserole, because we want the cheese to be mixed in, and that's kind of like our binding agent with the ground beef and the broccoli. So it's the broccoli cheese ground beef casserole. So we're going to just mix all the cheese in together. And now that we have it all mixed together, we're going to go ahead and cover it again, and again let it simmer for another few minutes. And now, guys, you can see that it has created a bit of a sauce. Everything is coming together nicely. This is going to be so delicious, and my kitchen smells amazing. And now to thicken it up just a tiny bit and make it extra cheesy, I'm adding in some cream cheese. So that is about 6 ounces of cream cheese that I'm adding in there. And I'm going to just kind of spread it about in our dish and then let it all melt in together. So we've let it simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes with the lid on, and I'm taking it off so that I can go ahead and mix it all together, just to make sure that all of the cream cheese is melted in to our casserole, and it's going to be amazing, guys. So I'm just kind of stir it all together, and then within a few minutes it will be dinner time. Okay, guys, and our broccoli cheese ground beef casserole is basically complete. Now dinner is served. I have a bowl full of deliciousness here. You guys can serve it on a plate or in a bowl. It's totally up to you. This is great comfort food, and guys, I should say this meal is also just very yummy and filling, and it would be perfect if you wanted to add rice with it also. My husband's not a big rice eater, so I didn't add it this time, but you totally could. Alrighty, guys, I hope that you all have enjoyed this video. If so, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button. And for my faithful family members, you all know I love you, and I look forward to seeing all of you on the next video. Much love and many blessings. Bye-bye.